Okay, we're on. Ready.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everyone. Good evening. It is 5 p.m. in Mexico. It is around 6 a.m. in Jakarta. So welcome, everyone. Here we are to have some presenters that we talk about building local livelihoods, resilience to climate change, lessons learned from Indonesia. Our presenters today, they all belong or are affiliated or work at CIFOR-ICRAF Indonesia. And this panel is taking place as part of the series of Eurasia ante Cambio Climático 2025. This is organized by Grupo de Estudios sobre Eurasia, Eurasia Studies Group. And this is a conference or like academic activities we have been organizing for the last 3 years, making use of the opportunity that the COP conferences offer to us every November. So that's a good pretext to organize this kind of discussions to learn more what is happening in the countries within the Eurasia region in terms of or in relation to climate change, what people, governments, and other actors are doing and what they are facing. So let me briefly introduce you to our presenters here. We have Ibu Endri, Ibu Novia, Ibu Balgies, and Pa Dikdik. As I said, they all work at CIFOR-ICRAF in Indonesia, and they all are located right now in Bogor City. So the name of the panel is Building Local Livelihoods Resilience to Climate Change, Lessons Learned from Indonesia. So the dynamic of this panel will be, they will be presenting for around over half an hour or so, and then we will open the floor for questions and answers from the audience. And so you are invited to share your questions or comments or observations or whatever you want to share in the chat of Facebook. So let me, if you are okay, Ibu's Babak, I will introduce each of you as you start speaking. So I will first introduce Ibu Endri, who is gonna give us like a general view or about the background of the project that she leads, which is a project called Land for Lives. So let me introduce Ibu Endri. Ibu Endri Martini is an agroforestry system and extension specialist with a strong interest in ecology, forestry, and community-based natural resource management. She conducts research and development activities on agroforestry extension to support the enhancement of farmers' sustainable livelihoods. She's a member of 3 professional bodies involved with ecological conservation and restoration, and is featured in more than 30 publications. She completed a master's degree through a human and institutional capacity development, which is a United States Agency for International Development Scholarship Program relating to biodiversity conservation and natural resource management. Sorry for that. She's currently enrolled as a PhD candidate at Bangor University in the UK. And things like not related to work, she enjoys traveling, reading, and photography. So Ibu, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Wendy. Buenas tardes, no? Good afternoon, and also good morning, or maybe good evening, I don't know. So first of all, I would like to say thank you to GC for inviting us to share our lesson learned from building local knowledge in building local knowledge resilience to climate change in Indonesia. So here I will be presenting with my 3 other colleagues who will introduce themselves during the presentation. But in the beginning, maybe I want to setting context to give you a better understanding on what's happening in Indonesia and what will be our lesson learned that will be shared during this sharing session. Let me share screen first. Okay, I hope this is okay now. So we are from CIFOR-ICRAF. CIFOR-ICRAF is a research agency focusing more on the transforming lives and landscape through trees, through forestry system or agroforestry system. We've been working since long. ICRAF itself, we've been working since 1978, and CIFOR been working since 1993. Before, we are 2 different entities, but since 2019, CIFOR and ICRAF are merging, and so now we become CIFOR-ICRAF. So first, maybe before I jump into more details, I want to set up the context that we want to discuss today or share today. First, maybe in Indonesia, we also affected by the climate change, and also this is also affecting the local livelihood here. So what are the type of common shock in Indonesia for the climate change? Maybe same as in Mexico or maybe other part of the world. Yeah, we are facing these 2 phenomena, El Nino and La Nina. Usually during El Nino we have this prolonged drought, increasing heat that affecting agricultural sectors and also other sectors that are related with the local livelihoods. And for the La Nina, usually we have heavy rainfalls, floods, and strong winds. Maybe like today, it is the beginning of La Nina in Indonesia. There are quite a lot of floods happening now in Indonesia, and this is actually affecting the agricultural, not only agricultural, but maybe forestry sectors, fisheries, and also the livestock, which makes the communities quite vulnerable, yeah, particularly the smallholder farmers and the fishermen. We are also not only focusing on the fisherman as a man, yeah, but also woman, because sometimes like the focus of the intervention to building local livelihood is focusing maybe to the men, but we think that women also important and also considered as the vulnerable communities. And this is not only affecting the land, but also the coastal area, because Indonesia is the compilation of islands, yeah. So we have like around 17,000 islands in Indonesia, and so the coastal areas are very important areas that we need to also focusing on when we speak about the climate change. So based on the FAO data in Indonesia itself, we have around 93% of smallholders. That's why for us it is very important to build local livelihood resilience to climate change, because most of the communities in Indonesia are depending on the agricultural sectors, and if it is smallholders, then they need to be build their capacity in order to mitigate or adapt with the climate change. So what we usually have when we are going to help the community to build their resilience to climate change, we are using this sustainable livelihood framework. This is very old framework, yeah, since 1999. David invented this framework, and we think that this is still be useful, yeah, to be used when we want to design livelihood strategies to any kind of shocks. Yeah. So for climate change, we think that this is as part of the shocks in the sustainable livelihood framework. And so this is when the shock is happening, yeah, it will affecting the livelihood assets and also will affecting the structure and the process and the livelihood strategy, how to mitigate or adapt with the shocks itself. Yeah. And this will affecting the livelihood outcomes, but actually the livelihood outcome can be changed or maybe stabilized if we can actually strengthening the livelihood assets. So strengthening livelihood asset means that we need to focus on these 5 livelihood assets: the natural, and then human, and then the financial, the physical, and also the social part. And from there, we can actually, focusing at the household level, we can actually build strategies for improving the local livelihood capacity to adapt or to mitigate with the climate change. In this lesson learned that we are going to share, we are going to discuss furthermore on the 3 major strategies that we used to have when we are working with the community. And so the first strategy is to improving access to financial, and then the second strategy is to improving sustainable agricultural practices, and the third strategy is to improving food security. So my 3 other colleagues will discuss more the lesson learned for these 3 major strategies. And the lesson learned is actually taken from this project. We have currently ongoing project since 2021. It's a 5 years project supported by the Global Affairs Canada. And the ultimate outcome is to increase the economic and climate resilience of livelihood and food security for poor and vulnerable Indonesian, particularly women and girls. Women and girls usually being not the focus of many intervention on the climate change adaptation or mitigation in Indonesia. So through this project, we want to also emphasizing that women and girls are also are important actors that need to be pay attention when we talk about the enhancing the adaptive capacity of the community to climate change. Yeah. And we are currently working in the 3 provinces. Indonesia is quite large, so we have island, but we have 5 big islands. Yeah, and so we are working in South Sumatra at the moment. It's in Sumatra Island, and then South Sulawesi in the Sulawesi Island, and also the East Nusa Tenggara is in Nusa Tenggara Islands. So in the project itself, we designed the project in a very holistic way. Yeah, so not only working with the household or at the household level, but we also working at the landscape level, provincial level, and up to the national level. Because as I mentioned about the strengthening livelihood asset, yeah, if you want to strengthening the livelihood asset, you cannot only working at the household level, but you need to also ask for other support from the landscape level, also the provincial level and the national level. That's why we are working with this quite large levels or multiple levels. And so for this presentation, we want to focus more at the village level, which will be discussing 3 major strategy that I already mentioned before. Yeah. So strategy 1 on the improving financial, and then the strategy 2 is on the improving the agricultural practices, and then the strategy number 3 is to improving the food security. So that will be discussed further by my colleagues. So I will pass on this to Ibu Novi, who will actually discussing about or maybe sharing some lesson learned from the strategy 1. So over to you, Mbak Novi.
Okay, thank you, Teh Hendri. So maybe before I start my presentation, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Caecilia Novita, research officer at ICRAF Indonesia, focusing on sustainable commodities and market development. So thank you for having me today and for the opportunity to present about strategy one. As mentioned by Endri, that the strategy one is related to enhancing rural economies through improved value chains, market access, and innovative financing of agroforestry. Next, yeah. So as we know that most rural communities in Indonesia depend for their livelihood on the agriculture, plantation, forestry, and fishery sector. Despite the significant challenges, they already face in sustaining their livelihood, climate change create new and escalating vulnerabilities, placing additional pressure on rural economies. For example, the shift in rainfall, unpredictable planting season, drought, flood, and rising pests are reducing crop yield and weakening local food security. And also the cope of climate stress, farmers tend to use more frequently chemical fertilizer, pesticide, and need more water, rising production costs while unstable yield, shrink profit margin, and reduce farm profitability. And of course, the climate change also cause soil erosion, declining soil quality, caused also by the use of chemical fertilizer, water shortage, and also biodiversity loss. And climate-related disruption cause inconsistent supplies, market uncertainty, and price volatility, reducing producer bargaining power and increase economic risk. And climate change makes many rural farmers lack access to climate-smart technologies, stress-tolerant crops, and efficient irrigation, as well as conservation practice and adoption is low to do limited capital and information. Related to financial institutions, they are reluctant to lend to high-risk sector, unfortunately, and the lack of innovative financing limit investment in adaptation and rural enterprise diversification. Unstable rural incomes increase poverty, widen gender gaps, and drive labor migration as households struggle with economic and social shock. And we also identify that climate change limited access to climate information, early warning, and agronomic advice, along with extension services, make it hard for farmers to make timely decisions and reduce climate risk. Next, yeah. So the intervention will be firstly will be improving value chain and market access. Before we discuss about the strategy, maybe we can see the illustration in this slide that actually agroforestry is a critical sector for Indonesia, accounting for a substantial share for GDP in 2024 as the third highest ranking industry sector and providing employment to at least 26 national productive labor force. Next, but however, despite its strong potential, agroforestry still faces complex challenges across commodities value chains and in market access. Particularly, we identify the institutional and capacity gaps, limitation and production scale, and supply capacity. The third one is market access barrier, including connectivity, challenge, weak branding, value proposition gap, and structural and pricing constraint. So for the first challenge, we can identify that individual and capacity challenge. Farmer in Indonesia remain disadvantaged because most do not join in a farmer group. That makes their limit their access to technical assistance, government program, and financial support, while also weakening their bargaining power negotiation with buyer. This situation is compounded by low business and financial literacy, including gaps in financial planning, cost calculation, and enterprise management, with effect further restrict access to credit, loan, and working capital due to high collateral requirement and interest rates. The second challenge related to production scale and supply side limitation. With farmer owning on average less than 2 hectares, Indonesia's agricultural productions remain fragmented and small, leading to inconsistent quantity, limited supply continuity, and reduced competitiveness, further compounded by low adoption of good agricultural practices, climate and labor-related disruption, and inefficient government extension services that limit access to technical guidance on climate-smart production and post-harvest handling. Limited access to post-harvest and processing technologies due to the constraint in capital, information, and support services also keep margin low and reduce opportunities to capture added value, contributing to sub-optional productivity and weaken market position for smallholder. The third challenge is related to market access and connectivity barrier, which producer face limited market access, particularly in remote areas. With increased dependence on a small number of powerful buyers, a situation worse by weak digital connectivity that restrict access to broader market, and also access to premium market is also constrained by challenge in meeting quality, quantity, and consistency standard, as well as high logistic costs. Low private sector investment driven by high business risk, weak infrastructure, and immature business model further limit opportunities. And while poor road access increase transaction costs and reduce competitiveness, especially for perishable product. In addition, limited government-led market facilitation, including minimal investment in market information system, trade promotion, and infrastructure, hampers producer ability to reach broader and higher value market. The fourth challenge dealt by the smallholder in Indonesia related to marketing, branding, and value proposition gaps. Agroforestry products often face minimal branding and promotion, lacking strong brand identity, consistent quality, and compelling origin stories that enhance value market. Limited traceability further reduce competitiveness in premium and sustainability driven market, while a lack of market intelligence leaves producer with a little knowledge of customer preference, market trends, and demand forecast. Inconsistent product quality also undermines buyer trust and hinder effective brand development, collectively restricting market opportunities for smallholder. The last one, we identify that challenge related to market structure and pricing constraint. The absence of price differentiation for sustainable product along with the lack standard of standardized quality gradings means that high quality and climate smart product receive little reward, providing minimal market incentive for adopting improved practices. Farmers also remain highly dependent on middlemen who capture most of the sorting and pricing benefit, and without access to real-time price information, adequate storage, and strong market power, smallholders are often forced to accept seasonal price volatility and unfavorable contract terms. Long value chains with multiple intermediaries further string margin, leaving farmer with the smallest share of profit. So this is all of the complex and significant challenges across its value chains in value chain and also in market access in Indonesia. Next, yeah. Sorry. Strategic approaches to strengthen Indonesia agroforestry value chain and market access for improved rural resilience will be the next discussion. To overcome the constraint within Indonesia agroforestry value chains and also mitigate the growing economic pressure posed by climate change, the following strategic approach can be pursued. Firstly, is institutional strengthening support. We run this strategic in the Line for Life project, as mentioned by Endri. Related to institutional strengthening support, we facilitate the establishment of farmer group and enterprise with clear statuses and bylaws for formalized governance, accountability, and inclusive leadership, ensuring defined roles and gender exclusive along decision-making process. This farmer organization, should be supported through a series of capacity building program that provide practical training in business planning, enterprise management, as well as human resource and financial and administrative record keeping to strengthen managerial skill across all members. We also facilitate business legalization for further enhance credibility and enables improved access to market, finance, government support, and strategic partnership, contributing to sustainable and resilient rural enterprises. The second strategy will related to scaling production on how expanding access to post-harvest and processing technologies will allow producer or farmers to increase value addition by converting fresh agroforestry commodities into higher value derivative product, extending the shelf life, reducing losses, and mitigating seasonal price drops during peak harvest period, supporting diversified production and circular economy innovation, further strengthen economy generation and livelihood stability. Additionally, market-oriented quality training developed through active engagement with buyer help align production with demand specification, establish clear standard, and ensure a more consistent supply of high-quality product. The third strategy will related to strengthening supply chains by collaboration and fostering cooperation among local enterprise group within and across villages to stabilize supply chains, increase producer bargaining power, and ensure consistent market supply and product continuity. And as a fourth strategy, enhancing market access, we strengthen smallholder market by enabling affordable and visible product certification, including quality grading to enter premium and export market. This would be complemented by direct linkage with downstream processor, exporter, and related industry to shorten value chains and improve profit margin through fair pricing. Introducing price differentiation for sustainable and climate smart commodities further incentives adoption of improved practice within green value chains. Local marketing hubs or cooperative can consolidate supply, reduce transaction costs, and meet larger volume market demand, particularly in remote areas. Strong branding, product identity, and also market-aligned packaging enhance competitiveness, while digital market platform increase price transparency and reduce resilience on intermediaries. Finally, improve market platform. Government market facilitation to trade promotion, market intelligence, and stronger extension and market linking services will help producer or a smallholder scale sustainably into broader and higher value market. And the last but not least strategies is pricing improvement. we try to introduce traceability system by implementing mechanism that verify sustainability, compliance, and meet premium market requirement, strengthening product credibility and improving market competitiveness. Next,
Yeah, you have 2 minutes to go.
Okay, siap. So I just want to show the long value chains across value chains in Indonesia. We try to strategically make value chain more efficiently, so the buyer will so the farmer will receive the fair benefits across the value chains. Next, this is our example of intervention, how we try to shorten the value chains and also identify the potential stakeholder that can provide various supports within in the production and also in the marketing areas. Next, yeah, we realized that the intervention in value chain and market access need to be supported by also the financial access because we realized that without the support of financial access, it's impossible for the rural economies or business to be growing. And this is the multiple structural and capacity related constraint in the financial access, and this condition is aggravated by the climate change. Next, So we intervene by introducing or piloting the innovative financing for all of you that questioning what is the innovative financing. Basically, it can be encompasses two key concepts. The first one is funding and the second one is financing. So the fundings refer to provision of fund or capital that's maybe can helps the enterprise or the farmer group without any repayment. But financing is the opposite. This type of financing scheme that require repayment or generates financial return. So innovative financing is stressed more about the approach. Even when we use the existing funding sources, but if we can tackle the barrier, we can mention that as innovative financing, or also generate the new initiative to mobilize new funds. This innovative financing is not only take in the form of cash, but also can take in the form of non-cash. For example, cultivation input, technical training, access to technology, market network, business formalization, product certification, etc. Next, we try to introduce to our beneficiaries the different kind of the various innovative financing scheme that can implement in the rural levels. So based on measures, the typology of innovative financing for climate change mitigation and adaptation, we can identify at least 7 innovative financing schemes. Next, yeah, this is this slide shows that we already implement some of them. Some of them are still in the developing process, but as you can see, many of them already implement in the rural level, and we can see that the type of the innovative financing, mostly in the type of grant or other transfer. That's because we see that for the initial business initiative at the rural level, grant-based financing provide more strategic advantages because it will remove repayment pressure during the early business phase. When income stream are not stable, and by helping enterprise avoid financial stress caused by uncertain and seasonal cash flows that remain highly dependent on harvest cycles and weather stability, particularly as the transition toward agricultural practices and climate smart agriculture is still in the early stage. Grant also reduce the risk of debt mismanagement at a time when financial literacy and business planning capacity are developing, while enabling enterprise to cover high upfront investment requires for equipment certification and pre-profit operation costs despite limited access to collateral. Additionally, grant financing help business absorb elevated risk during the piloting phase, when business model and market strategies are still being tested and validated. Next step. This will be the our general key message that strengthening rural livelihood in Indonesia under climate uncertainty requires gender inclusive strategies that empower both men and women as a key actor. Women involvement is essential because rural economics cannot reach their full potential when a large share of the agricultural workforce, mainly women, still face barrier to land ownership, finance, capacity building, and formal market. Including women helps diversity rural income, improve climate adaptation, reduce risk, and strengthen leadership and decision-making in community institutions. Therefore, rural development and climate resilience are stronger, more sustainable, and more effective when women are actively included as producer and decision maker. Also, when institutional support is combined with supply chains optimization, expanded market access, and diverse innovative financing schemes, tailored for climate mitigation and adaptation, rural agroforestry enterprise gain greater operational capacity and resilience, while also accelerating the adoption of climate smart agriculture. Capacity building focus on innovative financing further strengthen rural resilience by equipping farmer and producer lead business with essential knowledge of financial mechanism and risk assessment, enabling them to use fund according to their intended purpose and to meet financial obligation responsibly. This effort achieve greater impact when supported by strong multi-stakeholder collaboration involving government agencies, NGO, private sector, especially off-taker and research institution, which ensures scalability, inclusivity, and also continuity. Collectively, this holistic intervention contribute to the development of climate resilient rural economies, creating more stable livelihood, reducing vulnerability, and fostering sustainable economic growth across agroforestry communities. I think that's all for my presentation. Sorry if I took a longer presentation, yeah. So back to you, Teh.
Okay, thank you, Manovi. I hope my voice is okay. Now I will give the floor to Dikdik. Silakan.
Thank you, Mbak Endri. Buenas tardes a todos. Selamat sore, good evening. Thank you for your time. My name is Dikdik Permadi, Research Officer, focusing on agroforestry socio-ecological impact. At the moment, I will share several lessons learned that we gain from implementing the second strategy, which is improving farm management by applying climate-smart agroecological practices to create a sustainable and climate resilient land use system. Next. As we discussed before, climate change is real, yes, and affecting our agricultural sectors in Indonesia particularly. It's harder to know that farmers face extreme weather events like heat waves, storms, floods in the land, and they also face unpredictable and shifting planting and harvesting season. So the productivity is quite volatile, and erratic rainfall, temperatures, and humidity patterns also change, and also prolonged drought affect water availability and crop growth. So the production system is very vulnerable to the climate. It is worse by higher frequency and intensity of natural disaster. Now in Indonesia, we are facing the tropical storm, that affecting the northern part of Sumatra and across two provinces, I think. And this is resulting agricultural consequences like disrupted plant growth, development, increased pest and disease pressure, and then the unpredictable cropping season and calendars, and volatile production costs and uncertain farm profitability. Next, Indonesia consisted of 17,000 islands with complex and highly diverse in the context of agroecological. So there is no one size fits all solution. So to our perspective, context is crucial, especially when it comes to agroecological context. Agroecological zones show in the map from the very west of Indonesia in Sumatra to the very east in Papua represent distinct land areas with specific combination of climate, soil, topography, and vegetation that determine agricultural potential and constraints. So the people or smallholder in Sumatra will facing climate variability and vulnerability impacts different to the Nusa Tenggara Island, to Sulawesi Island, to Kalimantan Island, and other parts of Indonesia. In the wet zone, represented by the orange color, intensifying flooding, soil erosion, and waterlogging is the climate risk and challenge. To the dry arid zone in Nusa Tenggara or some part of Sulawesi, drought, water scarcity, and soil degradation is the main challenge. And also to tidal swamp zone in Indonesia, in Sumatra, Kalimantan, and southern part of Papua, salt water intrusion, seasonal flooding, and soil acidity is the main challenge. So the contextual efforts is crucial to address the climate change. This is also aligned with Indonesian smallholders realities that dominated by smallholding capacity, smallholders, which is highly vulnerable to climate shock. So the agroecological zone is very crucial when we are trying to conduct a program or project. Next. We are using a climate smart agriculture, an approach that guides action to transform agri-food system towards green and climate smart, climate resilient practices. This is introduced and widely promoted by FAO to help the farmers and smallholders to be resilient with the climate shocks. There are three pillars of climate smart agriculture or CSA. Yeah. The first one is productivity. We are trying to increase yields and farm income through diversified and sustainable practices, not only by one product, but also a more diverse product from one land. And then the adaptation, we are trying to strengthen farmer resilience to climate risk, to understand the farmer, to understand what the climate change is and adapt to it with the flexible strategies. And the third one is mitigation. We are promoting the reduction or removing greenhouse gas emission through improved land management from trees, organic fertilizers, no burning, and etc. Next, as the context is matter, agroecological context in the land for life projects area is important. In the land for life project, we are trying to improve knowledge and capacities of farmers. women and men in climate smart agriculture, particularly those that can increase the participation of women in the farm. We are working in South Sumatra. There are degraded peatland area there, a rubber-based monoculture system, oil palm-based monoculture system, and some forestry issue regarding the peatland situation. In the South Sulawesi, we are facing a degraded land intensive monoculture system, predominantly by corn or maize. Yeah, cocoa or coconut-based monoculture system also happened in South Sulawesi, and maybe the additional information from the coastal zone. There's an intensive fishery that reducing the mangrove covers in the coastal. And then in the East Nusa Tenggara area, we are facing arid or semi-arid degraded land, which is very vulnerable to water. So water scarcity and slash and burn farming are predominantly practices by the smallholders in the Nusa Tenggara. Next, there's some lessons we are gained from the implementation of land forest project. The one is promotion of agroforestry. Agroforestry is integration of trees, crops, and livestock within a plot or farmer field to simultaneously advance all three the CSA pillars. This is also including the agro-silvophishery that combines fisheries and forestry as an integrative CSA strategy. The first one, when we are practicing agroforestry, we are sustainably increasing productivity and incomes through diverse products and improving soil health. And then the second one, we are also building farmers resilient to climate change with microclimate regulation, water management, selecting suitable tree species and clone and or varieties. And the third one, we are also reducing greenhouse gas emissions. We are carbon security. We are trying to sequestrate carbon from the trees and reduce emission through no burning, and then organic fertilizer, biopesticide, and etc. In South Sumatra, we are trying to introduce oil palm agroforestry, rubber agroforestry, increasing tree species diversity, zero burning, soil health improvement, and seedling production to the community-based nursery. In South Sulawesi, we are trying to promote coconut agroforestry to replace the monoculture system. Cocoa rejuvenation also happened there with multi-clonal approaches and increasing tree species diversity, soil health improvement, and also seedling production. In East Nusa Tenggara, we are promoting permanent agriculture to shifting the slash and burn agriculture for food security, and trees on farm also, fruits, MPTS, and water and soil conservation also, soil health improvement and seedling production. Next, when we are trying to promote our approach in agroforestry, the lesson number 2 is the importance to understand farmers' behaviors is also crucial. Yeah, behaviors change is a long and gradual journey. It's a pathway to adoption. Strengthening smallholders' knowledge and capacity is a hand-holding process requiring consistent guidance through the process. So we are adopting a framework from Rogers in diffusion of innovation, from knowledge, interest, trial to adoption. To gain the knowledge, we are conducting training series on climate smart agricultures in 36 villages across 1,800 farmers participated. 18 good agricultural practices manual as learning materials. And then we are conducting post-training engagement with farmer extensionists, and we are develop a demonstration site through cross-visit activities to build interest from the training participants. And then the next step is trial. The farmers will be try the approaches on agroforestry. We are developed 150 demonstration trials as learning gardens, an area to co-designing, co-learning, and co-investing process uh, between us, CIFOR-ICRAF, and the beneficiaries. We are also develop community-based nursery and learning group-based organic fertilizer production unit to help the practices. And the next step is adoption. When all steps are completed, farmers will try to adopt the CSI or agroforestry on individual farms. Maybe only agroforestry or only nursery or only organic fertilizers. And then we are promoting farmer-to-farmer extension activities to help disseminate and strengthening the capacity development process. Next. The lesson number 3 is innovation on extension system to induce adoption and enhance impact of GSA is very important. Yeah, there are 1,260 farmers improve knowledge from the 1,800 farmers through farmer-to-farmer extension as a key process in promoting climate smart agriculture and agroforestry adoption. This is very humble approaches. So farmer champion will be the key agent in promoting climate smart agriculture to help other farmers in adopting the practices. And we are also think that learning garden is an important action arena for an iterative process between projects and beneficiaries through some process like co-designing, co-investing, and co-learning. So there is no side is dominant and side is subordinate. We are in the same level and learning together. And the last is seeing is believing for the farmers. Yeah, demonstration site is important as a learning hub and showcase the best practice for the surrounding community managed by multi-stakeholder informal governance. So when the project is completed, the sustainability of the activity is still there in the plot area and increase through time. Next. Yeah, I think that's my presentation. Thank you. Over to you, Mbak Endri.
Okay, thank you, Dikdik. So now I will give you the last presentation on food security. Go ahead, Balgies.
Yeah, thank you, Mbak Endri. My name is Balgies Devi Fortuna. I'm Community Development Research Officer, and my study is now more in food and nutrition. And I will tell you a bit about the strategy number 3, improving access to healthy and nutritious food by promoting the local food. Next, Mbak Endri. Now, this is the function in the ecosystem that will be disrupted by the climate change. And one of the most things that happened in Indonesia and most disrupted is food sources, because food security and climate is now a hot issue in Indonesia, and we are right now have a lot of challenges in food sources and food security. Next, Mbak Endri, sampai habis animationsnya. So the extreme climate will decline the food production by the harvest failure, late harvest, decrease the production and quantity, and also the decrease of quality of food. And from there, it will affect the food supply by decreasing the food supply, both the quality and quantity, and also rising the food prices in Indonesia. From there, we will have the food insecure because we are not able to buy the food. We are not able to access the sufficient, safe, and nutritious food for a certain time of period. And so we will have a poor nutritional and health status. Next, this is the study that we conducted in South Sulawesi, East Nusa Tenggara, and South Sumatra using HAVIAS or Household Food Insecurity Access Scale. We ask the mothers of the household about their food security status. And in South Sulawesi, around 30% of them actually food insecure. In East Nusa Tenggara, more than 90% are food insecure. And in South Sumatra, around 20 to 40% of them are food insecure. And the largest concern on food vulnerability, they say that the low stock, low quality of food, and not enough of availability of food is the issue that arise in their household, and they demand on the intervention on these three aspects. Next, Mbak Endri. So this is the food consumption patterns and why to obtain food in 3 provinces that we had studied in 2023. We have 10 food groups according to the FAO for the dietary diversity score. In East Nusa Tenggara, the diversity score is 3.9. In South Sulawesi, 4.2, and South Sumatra, 4.1. So according to FAO, we actually need to eat 5 food groups in a day, but in our study site, there are no provinces that can reach 5 food groups in a day. And we also conducted a study that in East Nusa Tenggara, more of them actually grow and buy their food, and some of food is obtained by transfer, for example, the fruits. And in South Sulawesi, there are a lot of way to obtain food. Some of them also have livestock, grow and buy. And in South Sumatra, most of them actually buy the food because the economical status in South Sumatra is way better than South Sulawesi and East Nusa Tenggara, so they tend to buy their own food. Next, Mbak Endri. So why eat locals? In our intervention, we promote the local food according to Law Number 18, 2012 about food. Local food defined as the food that consumed by local communities in accordance with local potential and local wisdom. So the highlight is the local wisdom and local potential. So we are trying to promote the food that actually available in there, both in the agricultural and also what they usually eat. And we promote the local food because local food will be adapted to the weather and climate condition of the area, so it's more resistant to the climate change. Also, local food will build the local economy in line with the economic circulation to farmers, business, and in the region. We also helping to build relationship between people and making communities stronger and healthier with eating more local food. And also, the local food is more fresher, more diverse, and more nutritious according a lot of studies. Next, Mbak Endri. So what we are doing is the first one, intervention on local food in the village level. We are doing 2 interventions. The first one, the development of communal kitchen gardens. We actually have 87, if I'm not wrong, kitchen garden as learning center for sustainable garden management and healthy food pattern education, to drive them to adopt the kitchen garden in the household level. So we trying to educate them how to make compost, how to make organic fertilizer, how to manage the kitchen garden in the household level, in the small scale and in the larger scale. And the second one, we also have the nutrition education to encourage them to eat more healthy food because we want them to reach at least 5 food groups in a day. So we conduct nutrition education with 6 curriculum according to local food that available in the area. We also using games, FGDs, to explore and gain the attention from them. Next, by Endri. The number 2. So the first one is in the village level. We trying to increase the knowledge of the community. So in intervention 2, Pak Dikdik mentioned that they want to increase the women's participation, but in here in food security, we are trying to improve the men participation because food is always the image of food is always women, so we are trying to include men participation. The lesson number 2 is expanding the involvement of the younger generation. So we have a local curriculum in 3 provinces. We have 260 pioneer teachers, 12,000 pilot students, and more than 500,000 students that have been implemented the local curriculum. In the local curriculum, we are working with the local government, with the Ministry of Education to make the local curriculum. So we make all the things that we learn from the community, from the kitchen garden, the nutrition education, we put them into the local curriculum, and we try to make the guidelines with the national government to enforce the education to able the adoption in the national level. Next, Mbak Endri. And the number 3, so the number 1, we work in the village level. Number 2, we work with the Ministry of Education to enforce the young generation. The lesson number 3 is we expand the public understanding and engagement through the development of wikipangan.id. You can access on the web wikipangan.id, but it's in Bahasa Indonesia still. We disseminate all the local food that we have been trying to write in the web. So we have more than 300 local food articles in the wikipangan.id. We also have the Instagram wikipangan. We try to engage with local communities by developing 3 communities in in each area, and they participate in the writing of local foods that available in that area, and also promoting the local food to younger generation and public and the public. Yeah. And we also have more than 183 visits in the Wikipangan website within a year, and to find the information about local food. Next, Mbak Endri. That's it from the food security. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Balgies. So that will be all. Apologize for the lengthy presentation, but I hope that we can receive enough inputs from you, and maybe we'll be happy to discuss if you have any further questions. Back to you, Ibu Wendy.
Thank you. Thank you, Ibu Endri, and thank you all. But your presentations were really interesting. And just let me check. I do have some questions, but let me check first on the Facebook page whether we have any questions from the audience before I jump in. Well, we do have one, I hope, one first question. So the question, I don't know, it's up to you, whoever wants to respond. It's a general question about the reason of why the project selected those 3 sites, because you mentioned Sumatra, Sulawesi, South Sulawesi, and Nusa Tenggara, right? So the Julian is asking why the project selected those 3 sites. What's the rationale behind it?
So first, maybe we need to describe the project is we call it action research projects, where we actually want to obtain some lesson learned from the piloting activities in this area. So we selected 3 major agroecological zones. So we hope that by selecting 3 major agroecological zone, then we can actually extrapolate the lesson learned to all other areas in Indonesia. So, for example, like what have been mentioned by Pak Dikdik, there are 3 major agroecological zone. So the wet zone is actually represented by the South Sumatra, and then the South Sulawesi is representing the mid or between intermediate zone, and also the dry zone is by the Nusa Tenggara Timur. And the selection is there are some criteria to select the sites. Yeah. For example, like in Sumatra, in 2015, I think there is this very extreme El Nino, yeah, in Indonesia, which actually affecting the peatland area, which is South Sumatra has this area dominated by the peatland. So that's why we selected South Sumatra. For the South Sulawesi, there are a very unique landscape. So from the mountains area up to the coastal area in one big landscape. So we are very interested to see whether we can actually have approach through the watershed management in the South Sulawesi. As you know, the Cineberang is quite large, and so we are focusing South Sulawesi to understand whether the a mitigation and adaptation of climate change can actually be linked to the watershed management in the South Sulawesi. In the East Nusa Tenggara, I think in Indonesia, this is the driest region. Yeah, that's why we select this area to understand more about, what will be the livelihood strategies and how can we actually improve the local, livelihood, yeah, through this to the context that occur in the dry zone area. So that's why we select these 3. So we hope that by by doing this in the 3 zone, then we can actually extrapolate the lesson learned, maybe to provide some recommendation to the national government.
Okay, yeah, understand. So there is another question, but maybe I should first follow up with something that you just said, because in the beginning, it's you explained that the project will run until 2026. That's next year, right? And so just wondering, you have designed and started with some of these strategies or implemented these strategies, encouraging people to, I don't know, to get involved or to do it by themselves, or like to disseminate knowledge and all these things. So just wondering what it's going to happen. I do understand that you have funding during this time, right? That the project lasts. So just wondering what it's going to happen after 2026. Like there is going to be an extension of the project, or is like you are working towards like, living that when the project like stops, everything will be kind of ready or self-established to work by itself.
Yeah. Yeah, every project has to end. So in the next 1 year, we are working more on the exit strategies. So in each component, we have different exit strategies. For example, like Pak Dikdik mentioned about building the demonstration site and then involving as many as stakeholder as you can. That is for the the strategy number 2, what we talked about. And then strategy number 1, we also involving the innovative financing schemes. By doing that, we hope that it can be taken by the other actors, so that the like if you have enterprises that already formed as established, that can actually be continued by the other stakeholders. And for food securities, I think therefore has mentioned about expanding the younger generation through schools, and then we already in collaboration with the Ministry of Education in Indonesia, and then they know what we are doing. And so they will be taken after we complete the activities in the project. We hope that they can actually continuing what we already begin or building. And then we also have other, media, yeah, to make sure that we still have a contact with the beneficiaries, for example, through websites or to Wikipangan. So we will still be in contact with the beneficiaries, although we don't have to be there, but we can actually still building the network. So those are the type of exit strategy is under multiple level, yeah. From the government, local government, we have district government involved and understand what will be, the next step after we complete the project, and then also the national level and up to the, much wider through website and to, social media.
Yeah, I understand. The idea is to scale it up, right? Like to,
Yeah, scale
as you
up
said,
and
to
then
replicate.
make a partnership as much as possible
Yeah, to
in the
make it
last year.
grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we do have another question that is related to the topic of outcomes, or like the measure of outcomes. It says, it's from Selfie, by the way. What have been the results of encouraging a healthy diet based on local food?
Okay, maybe Devi will answer that.
Sorry, can you repeat the questions?
Yeah, sure. That what have been the results of encouraging a healthy diet based on local food? Yeah. So
Okay, so the results, we actually haven't done the online study, so we don't know yet the results, but we actually have some staff in the field, and they mentioned that there are a lot of things that change among the villagers. For example, they eat more vegetables and fruits now. They are not having fruits every day usually, but after we encourage them to eat more diverse food and somehow teaching them how to eat healthy food in a way more cheaper, they know now they know how to eat more healthier food with that budget. And also for the school children, we also ask the teachers about the changes that happen in the school, and they also mention they always eat the fruits and vegetables that usually left out. We have this national program, which is the free school meals. They usually just left out the vegetables, but now after the education, they eat the vegetables and fruits. They also have slightly changes in, usually they just when we don't have the teachers in that particular a class, they usually just go around and like the children's things. But after we have the school curriculum, they will participate in the school garden. So when the class is not available, they will take care of the garden instead of going around. So that's small changes that happen in the school children and also the villagers. And among the Wikipangan, we have 3 communities, and they also have a lot of changes. At first, they don't really care about their own local food because they eat that every day, and they don't really have the things like proud of their local food. But after we tell them that they have a lot of local food with healthier options, they now loving their local food more, and they promote their local food to other regions and other public. That's the small changes that we know.
Well, maybe small changes, but many changes, right? And constant changes. So yeah. So I guess one last question that I want to ask you in terms of, I mean, related to outcomes. So it seems that maybe next year you will have like a broader evaluation of what has been achieved by the time, based on like when compared to the baseline that you had. So wondering whether those outcomes or results will be available for the public in general, and where we can find them if we want to learn more about your research and the findings.
Yeah, at the moment we are in the phase of collecting information to understand outcome and maybe potential impacts of our activities, and maybe we will write that into a paper that will be available publicly, or maybe you can actually visiting our website, CIFOR-ICRAF, and then you can find it there. But we can also share that with you when it is available. Yeah.
Okay, this was an advertisement, him actually. That's okay.
Yeah.
And so I guess one last question for myself related to challenges. The challenges that you as a team of a research project, and well, kind of designing, doing research, but also kind of implementing and working with many people. Like what have been the main challenges that you have faced when it comes to, go to these communities or villages that you have selected and trying to do all your work in terms of the research, I mean, in the step of doing the research itself, but also inviting others to participate and all that kind of things. Whoever wants to jump in, well.
Please, Mbak Novi and Dikdik.
Okay, maybe I go first. Yeah. So yeah, the challenges faced by us, yeah, especially time limitation, because a lot of things to do, yeah, in a very short time. In one side, we should facilitate intensively to the target beneficiaries, but in the other hand, we also do research. So that's the main challenges from my perspective, yeah, the time limitation, and but we have like a team, yeah, to solve that problem. So we have like more systematic working target, and so far we still can manage the challenge. Even yeah. We try to balancing between these two, research and also the daily facilitation or intense facilitation to the target beneficiaries. That's from me, Teh. Maybe Mas Dikdik want to add something? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, to balancing the research activity and the developmental activity is one thing, but I would like to add one other thing, that what we are trying to talk with the beneficiaries is it's a long and wide time scale. Let's say we are trying to promote agroforestry. We are talking about 10 years, 30 years maybe. So the visioning process is also a challenge. We are trying to create innovation in delivering message about agroforestry, climate smart agriculture, climate change maybe, because the thing that farmers wants to address is, yeah, predominantly in the short scale of time, but we are trying in a long scale of time. So we are also working with a large team in the field. We have some maybe 10 staffs, consist of farmer extensions, agriculture officers, agroforestry officers, to make it in one same page is also a challenge. So yeah, it's about science communication, I think. To communicate science to the beneficiaries, it's a kind of challenge from my side. Thank you.
And in that sense, what kind of strategies do you use for disseminate knowledge for beneficiaries, right? Like science for beneficiaries.
Yeah. Yeah, we create some approaches like games, gamifications, simulations. We have agroforestry simulation board to help the farmers in co-designing process to selecting species, to develop a planting distance and planting patterns in agroforestry system. Because when we are failed to visualize what we are trying to explain to the farmers, yeah, it's becoming a challenge to the next step of the behavior change of the farmers.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I just find it fascinating, and thank you for sharing your experience. It's a lot of work, I know, and a lot of coordination and a lot of challenges. So yeah, I really appreciate that you shared your experience, and I look forward to reading the achievements, outcomes, and still like a list of things to continue doing, because it's always like that, right? It never ends. So if there is if you want to add anything else, please feel free to do it. Otherwise, we can just conclude the session. You tell me.
Yeah. No, from us, thank you for the opportunity, and we'll be happy to be in contact in the future. Yeah.
Thank you, Ibu. Thank you, Ibu. Ibus dan Bapak. So thank you, the audience, for joining us. Hope this was as fascinating as it was for me. And so this series of Eurasia and climate change will be happening next year in November again. So we'll see you soon in a year. Well, anyway, time flies. So have a good night, everyone. Not the presenters, the presenters stay. But yeah, bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank
muchas
you very much.
gracias a todos.
So, Wendy,
Bye.
I'll be leaving and let you in session.
We already, no, you can already finish it. Did you already the broadcasting?